Americans are bad on promises. From the very beginning, from the early days after the revolution's victory until today, there has been no instance in which they have remained faithful to their commitments. Since the victory of the Islamic Revolution, they have shown numerous hostilities toward our free and Muslim nation. In every case where we have negotiated with them, engaged in dialogue, and reached agreements, they have made promises saying, "This is the last time." And I believe the Americans being bad on promises will continue. Today, the Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters and our armed forces, following the directives they received, have once again taken action to enforce the same regulations that have been in place in the Strait of Hormuz since the beginning of the 40-day war. This is a direct result of the Americans' behavior. In fact, the Americans themselves are causing us to take these measures. The fact that the U.S. president constantly says, "We talked to Iran, we heard from Iran," and that this thing will happen, we will do that thing, all of this points to a fundamental reality. Iran today, as in the past, is a major player in the region and in many global developments. If the U.S. president himself acknowledges this, then he should adjust his language and behavior accordingly, as a key and fundamental player in the region and the world. But unfortunately, because he lacks a proper understanding of the nature of dialogue, I would say his ideals, wishes, and dreams remain trapped in these networks. This strait is under the complete and intelligent control of Islamic Iran. At any time, Iran will use the strait according to its own requirements. The Americans must accept that this is not a place for bullying, nor a place for arrogance. This is a place for humility, for courtesy, and for respect toward the Iranian nation. They must know that they need to greet the great Iranian nation, show courtesy, show respect, and then present their requests. America does not have the power to besiege Iran. Why would we think America is besieging us now? This is piracy, and it has already received a decisive response, and will continue to receive one, perhaps even stronger. Therefore, I request that no one imagine that Americans can besiege the great, brave, and steadfast nation of Iran. In fact, I think it would be better if we avoided using such language altogether. A fundamental reason for the Americans' failure is the smart management of the Strait of Hormuz, which I mentioned earlier in this conversation. Iran's parliament, the National Security Commission, my colleagues in the specialized commissions of the parliament, and even many of my dear ones outside the parliament, have prepared expert opinions for the smart control of the Strait of Hormuz under the title of the Sustainable Security and Development Plan for the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf. Hopefully, we will bring it to the session at the first opportunity and then pass it into law. Today, the Americans were forced to evacuate the bases they had in the Persian Gulf, to flee, to leave the region. This is a great achievement. America's prestige has been broken. For years, the Americans promised the countries of the region that they would provide security. They took everything those poor people had in the name of providing security. In the end, they could not even secure their own security, and they fled.